And then we jump over to our game of the week. This might be as exciting. I don't want to say as exciting as the college football playoff, but these are two huge programs in FCS, two heavyweights going at it. This is the primetime matchup that everyone looks forward to. I don't know how else to say it. This is like your 12 a.m. boxing match, right? This is your fight of the night, the fight of the weekend. 4:30 kickoff on ESPN2 on Saturday. The 10-3 North Dakota State Bison go on the road to Missoula, Montana. What a beautiful town that is. To take on the 12-1 Montana Grizzlies. I mean, there's so much to say about this game. The spread, I believe, is 1.5 right now, or if not one. Over under 49.5. Looking like it's going to be sunny outside. Finally, this could favor the Bison coming into town. It's not going to be snowing. 37 degrees at kickoff is the estimated temperature. Like I mentioned, two heavyweights, two dynamic quarterbacks. This is the matchup of the weekend. Brad, I'll turn it over to you. Thoughts on this game, and who do you have coming away with the win?
Nate, man, I'm going to tell you, I've been going back and forth ever since we decided to pick this game. I'm still going back and forth. Nate, one of the things I do want to mention, I want to get your thoughts on it. This is, to me, a little bit of a big deal. So North Dakota State head coach Matt Entz, I believe it was earlier this week or late last week, announced that he was going to be, after the season, after the Bison conclude their season, was going to be going to USC as the assistant head coach and linebacker coach. So, first of all, Lincoln Riley finally paying attention to defense. Who knows if it'll do any good. But, Nate, this is a big storyline. I was reading some of the media up in Fargo, where North Dakota State is at. It sounds like that they could end up promoting offensive coordinator Tyler Roll to head coach after the season. But Nate, this like I said, I want to get your thoughts when you put in your prediction. I feel like this could be one of those things. Is it a distraction for North Dakota State? Is it going to motivate them to go out and try to win a national championship for their head coach? I feel like this is one of those storylines that is really, I mean, I know it's going to be talked about on TV. It's got to, and bottom line, the staff and the players can talk about all they want to about how they're focused on Montana, but still, this is a big storyline, I feel like. As far as getting to the game, look, I mean, you said it, these are two historic programs. Montana is good. They have not quite been able to get over the hump, and we know North Dakota State, for the past dozen years, has dominated FCS. I was so impressed with North Dakota State going on the road and just really, really taking it to South Dakota last week. Montana just gutting it out over Furman in overtime. Nate, I mean, we talk about it on this channel all the time. To me, it comes down to this quarterback battle. We mentioned our first one with Albany and South Dakota State. Well, this is another good one. Cam Miller for North Dakota State, I would say is a little bit more of a game manager, but like last week, 13 of 15. He's not going to put up big time numbers, but he's efficient. He's going to get a high percentage of completions, and he's not going to cost his team. And then on the other side, Clifton McDowell, big physical kid, 6'4", 224. Last week, struggled a little bit, 17 of 31, 208 yards, had a touchdown, a pick. But then he brings that element of he can run the football because he had 118 yards on the ground. Man, this is a toss-up to me. I think Clifton McDowell is really, really going to challenge the North Dakota State defense. But North Dakota State is a great program and maybe a little bit of an upset. I'm going to take the Bison here. I think it's going to be extremely close. I think it's going to be a fourth quarter game, but I'm going to take the Bison in this one.
Brad, we mentioned this time and time again. These two programs are phenomenal, rich history, great programs in the FCS. One stat line that sticks out to me from last week against a decent Furman team, right? But nonetheless, Montana was definitely the heavy favorite. Clifton Dowell of the Montana Grizzlies, 17 of 31. He wasn't the most accurate quarterback in his He threw for 208 yards, but there was a few plays in there where he could have ended up with 3-4 interceptions in that game. They really had to battle it out in the last minute, and then they gave up that late touchdown to Furman to go into overtime with the final seconds ticking down. Furman was able to drive down the field and get it done. And then, obviously, they lost in overtime. Montana takes the win. But I'm going to have to agree with you. I think North Dakota State is just the better team. You can look at the records and say 12-1 versus 11-3. But at the end of the day, North Dakota State's defense is the difference maker and this one. And you mentioned this coach to go coach for USC. You know, I remember a few years ago, even Steve Sarkisian came into Texas and he brought in I believe he brought in the head coach or the defensive coordinator from Montana State. And it threw me off a little bit. I was a little confused by that hire, you know, especially with him bringing in other guys from Alabama. But now that we see what that Texas defense has done, these FCS guys, they know how to play defense and they know how to recruit. So
Absolutely.
you know, big shout out to him and wish him the best of luck at USC. But he's got some unfinished business, and I guarantee that he's going to have the Bison ready to play in this one. 1.5 point spread, Brad. This one's going to be tight. This game could go into overtime as well. Could be a last minute field goal. You just never know. But in the end, I'm going to take the North Dakota State Bison as well. I think they just edge it out and win by a field goal. Give me the North Dakota State Bison. When we come back next time, we're going to get into our Bowl Mania previews and predictions, along with some other transfer portal news, coaching changes, and so much more. You're not going to want to miss out. We're just getting started. Please be sure to subscribe. Give this video a big thumbs up. Share it with your friends. Follow us on all socials at @BreakTheHuddle_. And be sure to turn on your bell notifications to stay up to date when we post our latest video. And let us know in the comments who you believe will win this week's matchup. From Break the Huddle Studios, this is Nathan and Brad signing off.